Hello ladies and gentlemen, Rurikhan here, bringing you yet another Flashpoint, still going around in my Sage. This time around I'm going to be bringing you guys some Cademimu action. It was actually with the same group that I was with when I did the previous instance, which I believe was Mandalorian Raiders. And I am planning to try and cover a couple of more instances with my Jedi Sage. As you can see here, we start right up getting attacked by these filthy droids, the social adjustment droids, basically zapping people to socially adjust them. So yeah, spreading my heals around as usual, and like I've mentioned before, if you guys really want to know how to heal with the Jedi Sage, I already have a really in-depth guide that is currently one of the top search terms for SWTOR on YouTube, which is really nice. Thank you very much for everyone's support on that particular video, because it did indeed took quite a lot to work on that particular video. So yeah, it's good to know that you guys appreciate it. Also, something else that I've noticed in this instance is that I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my video guide or not, is that an incredibly useful way to use benevolence is to use it right after you've used a rejuvenate. Obviously it cuts the mana cost, thus making it a much more efficient heal for, you know, those fast heals, just not very heavy heals like someone is not taking a whole bunch of damage. You might want to use benevolence on that particular case because it becomes useful. I'm not sure if it's called benevolence or yeah, it's a benevolence one. So yeah, I'm going around. This time around we have, it's not the exact same group, one of the persons changed. We have Kavik the Backstabber, which was our tank in the previous run. We also have Fly Girl Sonara, which was our gunslinger for the previous one. And then instead of a trooper, which we had on the other one, we have the duelist Maybe. People going around making weird ass names, Maybe. So, yeah. Just going around DPSing. There's not a whole lot of challenge at the start of the instance. I actually do not outlevel this instance like I did the previous one. And this is actually a really fun scene because you actually enter a cantina and all of a sudden people show up all over the place. And I thought this scene was pretty sweet. It's like chaos at the cantina or whatever you want to call it. I just thought it was really cool. The objective in this particular instance is basically the planet has kind of been taken over by a ruthless dictator, and you basically have to free the people in the planet from the control of that ruthless dictator. And also, obviously, he controls an array of missiles, which is incredibly dangerous and can actually destroy, you know, a Republic fleet or even an Empire fleet. So yeah, you gotta kind of prevent that type of stuff. And as you can see, doing my professions while I'm running the instance, that's actually one of the really good points of SWTOR, is that you can do professions while you're doing anything. It's like, oh, I'm questing and doing my professions. I'm making an instance and doing my professions. So I think that's a really neat touch. I think that the crafting system is working pretty nicely. And I think the scenario that they created with this Flashpoint is incredibly, how should I put this? It is incredibly immersive because you actually see the people fighting out in the streets. Obviously you can tell that it's a contained area, so to speak, but I mean the people are actually fighting in the streets against the oppressive forces of the government. Naturally they don't make that much damage, but it's still nice to see them there. This was actually an area where I was having a little bit of problem. It seems that we attacked two social adjustment drones at the same time and have another gold dude there in the back, and it's beginning to be a little bit of a mess. As you can see there, everyone's health going down pretty fast, but I'm still just on top of my game, laying down those deliverances, you know, careful laid out heals, make sure that every heal lands properly, make sure not to move before your heal cast ends, because that's something I've had a little bit of difficulty with, because I mean I'm playing from Portugal, I'm playing on a US West server, so it's like the furthest away possible, and so I get pings of over 200, but I've heard that you actually get a delay between pressing your skills and whatnot, even if you are local to US West, which I find incredibly disappointing. So just a little quick reference, if you guys notice a little a couple of seconds back, we just picked up a prisoner. That is me making full use of my slicing. I really enjoy slicing. It's not just a money-making profession. It gives you so many possibilities when you are in instances. I mean, just in this instance alone, I'm going to free that prisoner. And even though he might not be the most useful thing in the world, for all of those of you who have slicing, I advise you guys to kind of explore the instance a little bit more, and you will find the prisoner in case you've never seen him before. And sure, he's not the most useful thing ever, but I mean, he will be useful in the boss fight because he is another person for the next boss to basically tug along, as you will see right now. This is the very first boss, Officer Xander. And what happens with this boss is you gotta focus target the boss and nuke him down as fast as possible. However, he's gonna have that little robot slowly moving towards you. Some of you who have done the Kael'thas encounter in World of Warcraft might be familiar with this mechanic. I don't remember the exact name of the mob, but there was a mob that would slowly run towards you, and if he would get to you, he would basically own your face. That's exactly the same thing as this robot does. If he gets to you, he freezes you in place and you're out of the fight for a good long time, which is obviously not advisable because everyone is needed, as you can see by me just spam healing that tank who is just taking massive amounts of damage. And here comes the robot once again, but I do believe we are going to be taking down the boss. The robot is trying to pick up another player, but it's not really going to happen. And as long as you kite the robot long enough, there really is no huge challenge there. So the prisoner here was actually useful because the robot did target the prisoner before anything else. After the boss, I obviously make use of my awesome slicing skills and start slicing up this cop car. I mean, I like calling it a cop car because, you know, it has the sirens and whatever and the flashy lights. And so yeah, it looks like kind of a police vehicle of Star Wars, but whatever. Basically, it gives you a shortcut, makes it skip through a whole bunch of mobs. So if you have a slicer on your team, it's always useful to have him go ahead, slice that vehicle up, and you get a little bit of a shortcut. And here we are moving through, defeating a couple of more of these thugs and droids that are in our way between us and the evil dictators of the planet to ensure the freedom of these people. So yeah, Kavik the Backstabber making short work of just about everything that comes across us. Still keeping the group healed up pretty nicely. Once again, just a reminder, if you guys do want to watch a healing guide, because this is not particularly a healing guide, it's more to give you guys an idea of what you can expect to see in the instances of SWTOR, as well as general boss tactics and whatnot, and a little bit of discussion along the way. So if you want to see a detailed healer guide, make sure to check out the link or the annotation or whatever I end up doing in the video. And here we have Captain Grimmick, and I do not like killing Captain Grimmick because he is a Wookiee and I do not like torturing Wookiees. Now, however, this boss is pretty basic. When the ads come up, just AoE the crap out of them, kill them all at the same time. Not a huge deal of damage. And make sure to just not stand in AoE. I believe that at some points the boss actually does make a little bit of AoE. Still not really a big challenge, and this group does not entirely overlevel this instance. As a matter of fact, I do believe that the tank kind of underlevels this instance. I believe he's level 25 or something. I'm not entirely sure at this particular point in time. You guys should be able to see it at some point when I click to select his name. But I do believe that this particular group does not overlevel this instance. So as you can see, still making short work of this boss. Not really a huge challenge. I can't wait to get to the heroics when I get to level 50, because that is obviously going to be when my guys are going to be more useful for people. I'm probably going to review the whole healing guide thing, and look at that! This is smuggler gear. I mean, when I came to these instances my very first time, no smuggler gear. This chick, Sinara, she's gotten like completely geared up in the two instances we've made, both in Mandalorian Raiders and in this one, Cademimu. She got all the possible smuggler loot one can get. So yeah, we're in here fighting against these turrets. The turret on the right sometimes seems to reset, but I don't know exactly what the deal is up with that, but apparently they were able to go ahead and keep on rolling. They went ahead and just completely obliterated it as I healed through the damage. Once again, if you feel that you're not really needed so much on the healing duty, always remember that telekinetic throw is most likely your highest DPS spell available to a sage, as far as I can tell. Always remember also that you have your little stuns and whatever in case you get into nasty situations. But, I mean, with this particular group, it wasn't really that hard. And once again, it just inspired me even more to develop my Sith Assassin as fast as possible, because you guys still haven't seen me tank in SWTOR. And that is a surprise that even I am surprised. Why haven't I still tanked in SWTOR? And here is the elevator boss. I mean, it's just an elevator, and it's just annoying because it has like 3 or 4 stops, and if you miss the elevator, is incredibly annoying because it takes a long time to go back up. So yeah, skipping through the elevator there, we're going to be knocking these guys dead. For the next stage of the Flashpoint, what you got to do is you got to kill this little group here and activate that panel that you can see behind them. That's going to open up your doors, and it will actually take you on to a bridge location where you will fight some more turrets. But those turrets, however, have a little bit of a trick to them when you're fighting them on a bridge, like what you're seeing now. Because you see, those guys in the turret, they can actually make a AoE knockback effect, which is obviously incredibly dangerous because there is no ground, like no safe ground for you to land in case you get pushed over the ledge in this particular area. As you can see there, Kavik tasting the very first knockback to the face. This should have alerted our duelist maybe over there, who is still risking going behind that turret. Now, I believe with the left turret, he's actually lucky because they don't pop the AoE. But on the right turret, he's not going to be so lucky. Now, healing right now is not being incredibly heavy. I mean, it's just simple stuff. So I'm just throwing a couple of heals, coming in here, do a little bit of damage. I don't even know why I AoE'd there. And boom! Goodbye. There he goes. Got pushed back and over the ledge. I thought that was kind of funny. So moving right along, there's a little situation over here where you're going to be accessing the network of missiles available on this planet, which is obviously one of the biggest threats and probably the main reason why you're actually sent into this instance. So we're going to be taking control of the missiles of the planet shortly. Just clearing up a couple of more mobs here, keeping the heals up. As you can see, just laying down deliverances all over the place, like I mentioned in my guide, because that is basically the way to go if you're a sage. So yeah, we are trying to shut down the missile launch sequence, but we cannot because the missiles are already locked, so they need to be fired. However, we can designate a different target. So basically, we can either choose between launching the missiles to an uninhabited moon or launching the missiles directly to the Imperial fleet. Now, when I did this with my smuggler doesn't give a damn. My smuggler was like, man, screw the imps, screw the imps, and threw the missiles directly at the Imperial fleet. However, my Jedi obviously is a much nicer person, and he just throws the missiles to an uninhabited moon. So yeah, gonna load the missiles into position. And in the meantime, our gunslinger there is saying, boring Jedi. No, I'm a nice Jedi. I do not wish to just destroy the Empire. And no, this is not a case of just me going light side all the way. I do make a couple of dark side choices with my Jedi, just not that often, because I'm obviously role-playing a Jedi and a Jedi Sage nonetheless. And boom! There goes a small moon. And now we basically approach the final boss of this particular instance, which is, let me see if I can catch the name there. I don't know, oh, it's General Ortol. Yeah, I always forget. It's General Ortol. And the specifics of this fight, it's pretty much a tank and spank. The boss doesn't really do anything that is incredibly hard. The only thing is, obviously, the jet fire that you're watching over there. It's not really jet fire, it's missile. Because basically the General Ortol keeps telling people, keep firing, so they keep firing the missiles, and obviously, as you can see, there's a little bit of a telltale signs there through the steam. What you need to keep in mind, however, is that in this particular Flashpoint, the fire does not really represent the proper area which you need not to be to in order to get burned. So basically, if you really want to know the best way to figure out if you're going to get burned in this area or not, picture it like this. The room is divided in 4 positions. If you look up, you will see me constantly looking up. There are 4 jets. They take up 1/4 of the room. So do not, I repeat, do not judge the AoE effect simply because of the steam. Picture it like there's the room is consistent of 4 squares. When there is 1 rocket active in one particular square, you need to be in the complete like square that does not have any steam at all, because otherwise you will get flamed, you will get burned, and you will die. So yeah, that is basically really the only trick to this boss. It's just running around, keep out of the fire, and the fire is deceiving because it is obviously not finished like a whole lot of other things in this game. Because look at that, if you look at that fire, it almost looks like you can just wedge yourself in between 2 rockets. Can't do it. You will burn to a crisp. As a matter of fact, if you try lodging yourself between 2 rockets, you will most likely take damage from both of them. So yeah, keep that in mind as you're going through the instance. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this particular boss. Not a whole lot else I can say, just keeping everyone up. Remember, Deliverance is your friend, and obviously Rejuvenate is like your best friend in the world, because it gives you a faster cast on Deliverance, it gives you a less mana cost on Benevolence. So I mean, Rejuvenate as much as possible, and like I've mentioned before, Rejuvenate is your heal on the run, together with Force Armor. It's probably one of the best combinations you can possibly have, and down goes General Ortal. And what do we have here this time around? Oh, I actually got a headpiece. Thank you very much for that. And I actually am going to be getting that piece of loot, but obviously some more smuggler loot. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this instance. As usual, leave me your comments, likes, and feedback, and I will see you guys in the next one.